Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Talk by Goyal. I'm your host Anil Goyal, and today we're diving into something super interesting, American history. But don't worry, this isn't going to be like your boring classroom lecture. We're going to explore how America's story actually began, from the Paleo-Indians to European colonization and everything in between. And joining me today is Megan, a history enthusiast and researcher from California. Hi Megan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Anil. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk about America's journey from ancient tribes to modern times.
Awesome. Let's get started from the very beginning. So tell me, who were the Paleo-Indians and how did they come to America?
Great question. The Paleo-Indians were actually the very first people to arrive in North America. Most historians believe they came from Asia, crossing a land bridge called Beringia, which once connected Siberia to Alaska around 15,000 years ago. They were hunters and gatherers who followed large animals like mammoths and bison for food.
Wow. So basically, the first Americans were Asian migrants thousands of years ago. That's fascinating. Now, I've heard about the Mound Builders and Pueblos. Who exactly were they?
The Mound Builders lived in the eastern part of North America, mainly in places like Ohio and Mississippi. They built huge earthen mounds, some for religious purposes, and others for burials or community gatherings. The Pueblos, on the other hand, lived in the Southwest, like present day New Mexico and Arizona. They built amazing homes out of clay and stone, often several stories tall, with ladders connecting each level. Their architecture was advanced and still admired today.
That's so interesting. So while one group was making giant mounds, another was building apartment-style homes in the desert. Now, what about the people from the Northwest and Northeast? Were their lifestyles very different too?
Yes, very different. In the Northwest, tribes like the Tlingit and Haida lived near the Pacific coast. They had plenty of fish, especially salmon, so food was never a big problem. They were also famous for their totem poles, which told family stories and legends. In the Northeast, tribes like the Iroquois and Algonquins lived in forest areas. They grew crops like corn and beans and built long houses for big families. They were also known for forming alliances and councils, early examples of democracy, actually.
Early democracy? That's really cool. Now let's talk about something people often forget. The native Hawaiians. They're part of America too, right?
Absolutely. Native Hawaiians have a beautiful and rich culture. They came from Polynesia over 1,000 years ago, sailing across the Pacific Ocean in canoes. They had their own kings, traditions, and strong spiritual connections to nature, especially the ocean and volcanoes. When the U.S. annexed Hawaii in 1898, it became part of America, but Native Hawaiians still proudly preserve their identity today.
That's beautiful. Sailing across the ocean and building a new world. Now, what about Puerto Rico? How does it fit into American history?
Puerto Rico has a very unique story. It was originally inhabited by the Taino people before the Spanish arrived in the 1400s. Then, after the Spanish American War in 1898, the island was ceded to the United States. Today, Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens, but the island isn't a state. It's an unincorporated territory, so they can vote in primaries but not in presidential elections. A bit complicated, right?
Yes, sounds like it. Now let's move toward the European colonization. That's when everything changed, right?
Totally. Around the 1500s and 1600s, Europeans, mainly Spanish, French, Dutch, and British, started arriving in North America. The Spanish came for gold and to spread Christianity. The French came for fur trading. The Dutch built settlements like New Amsterdam, which later became New York. But it was the British colonies that grew fastest, especially along the Atlantic coast.
Right, and the British colonies became the foundation of the United States, right?
Exactly. There were originally 13 British colonies, from New Hampshire to Georgia. Over time, these colonies started to feel unfairly treated by Britain, especially with taxes and lack of freedom. That's what led to the American Revolution in 1775, and eventually the birth of the United States in 1776.
That's the famous Declaration of Independence moment, right?
Yes, Thomas Jefferson wrote it, declaring that all men are created equal. It was a bold step toward democracy, though it took centuries more to truly include everyone.
Absolutely. History is all about progress, one step at a time. Before we wrap up, Megan, tell me, what's your favorite thing about early American history?
I'd say the diversity. Long before America became a country, it was already full of different cultures: native tribes, European settlers, Africans, and later immigrants from all over the world. That mix, sometimes beautiful, sometimes painful, made America what it is today.
That's such a powerful thought, Megan. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and passion. And friends, if you enjoyed this amazing journey through American history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Real Talk by Goyal. We bring you stories, facts, and real conversations every day. Till next time, take care, keep learning, and stay curious.